Well, it would have been a shame to throw it away, wouldn't it? So that's not the finished article. That's obviously somewhere just to store it for the moment. But I think I'll rub that down, I'll clean it up. And when we spray sprout, do that front end as well. Right, so next job, it's a bit boring, but we've got to clean up all these edges. I've got to clean this up so I can see the spot welds. Drill out all the spot welds, get this lip off, that lip off, get the remaining lip of the scuttle panel off and get that all cleaned up. Same again on this side, and then I've got to replace this Flitch panel. So I won't time lapse some of this because you've seen spot welds being drilled off. It's a bit boring, but I'll get this cleaned up and I'll show you in stages as we go through. There we go, a few minutes later, just clean that up with a strip disc, and as you can see, much easier than the seal was. You can see perfectly where the spot welds are. Just got to get the spot weld drill bit now, drill them out. And then with everything, I always keep the offcuts and bits of old panel, especially like with stuff like this, because yeah, it just gives you an indication. You might want to go back to it, look at it when you weld it back on, how distant the spot welds were. They're about every inch. So yeah, let's crack on. Right, there's all the spot welds drilled. Now, just got to chisel them out. So there we go, that's that peeled back now. That was really easy to do actually. It came off really, really easily, just because you can see where the spot welds are exactly and quite precisely drill them out. There's a couple of holes here down the front that we're going to have to back and weld up just to make sure it's strong. But aside from that, that'll just we'll put some weld through primer on there, and that's almost ready to go back on now. Got to get the lip off here, got to get this one off here as well. Right, time for a bit of a progress update. So this lip is all done now. I've gone along it with the MIG welder, just filled up any holes or where the spot welds have, I've drilled them out too far and drilled all the way through. They've all been filled now. Up the top here, that lip was starting to corrode. There was a bit missing, so I've cut a piece out, put it in there. I've cleaned up this closing panel. Unfortunately though, obviously I've got a full Flitch panel to fit on this side, or it's got to go up to here anyway, so I think I might end up having to take that closing panel out, in which case it'll probably get replaced. And as we come down towards the front here, I've drilled out all the spot welds which were holding this piece on, which holds the front panel on. Unfortunately behind there the water's got between the two, and as you can see there's a hole there, so I probably wasted a lot of time drilling out all those spot welds. I think other side I'll just cut it out because that, like I say, is rust in between the two layers. And on the bottom here, this is again where the bit goes on the front panel. Again, loads of faffing around cutting that out, and water's got between the two and corroded, so it might be just easier on the other side just to cut it out. Right, subscribers, it is with a heavy heart. I don't know how to break this to you, to be honest. I'm absolutely gutted. Today we mourn the tragic passing of the angle grinder. This thing has seen some atrocities, and if this angle grinder could only talk, the dodgy welds it's seen. It nearly killed me a couple of weeks ago, but today it has died. It is no longer. It is a dead grinder. But we can spark it back into life. Go on, girl. Yes! sadly, I think it is no more. Oh! It wants to live again, but I think it's time to retire this grinder. You served me well. Welcome, Mac. Mac is a new grinder, fresh. Will it be as good as the old one? Only time will tell. Right, sorry about that. I've been getting proper stuck in today and I haven't had much time to pick up the camera. I've just been getting on with it. It seems to have been a very long day today. I don't seem to have got much done, but I guess that's the way it goes sometimes. So this is all sorted out now. We've got new bits of panel welded in there. That's all done. The lip's all done now. This is just cure rust on it at the moment of the closing panel. And what I've managed to do is get out this Flitch panel here. As you can see, I've gone back. There's cure rust on it at the moment, so it looks a bit purple. But I've gone back to where it's clean metal, and it didn't have to go back that far, to be honest. It's quite a complicated piece to replace this because it's spot welded here. It's spot welded there. We're going to have to seam weld down the side here. It flips over at the bottom and then spot welds on the bottom with a seal as well. It was quite difficult to get out just because of the amount of places it's spot welded. So if we look on the floor, I had to break it into 3 pieces. So this is where it goes onto the hinge. I assume that's the hinge panel inside. There's not actually many spot welds holding that on. Then you've got the inner wing, that A post there. There's quite a few spot welds there. And at the top here, this was a bit where it was really rusty. If you can see in between, it was actually okay. So it's just top and bottom. And the top rusts, this is really annoying. And I've got the same both sides. So let me show you this. If you'd just seen me welding or cutting last week, it looked like a barbecue. There was so much smoke coming off the car. And that's because up in the top corners, it's got this, it's like rubberized, I don't know what it is, polyurethane or something like that. But there's tons of it on there. When you cut through it, it's just like you set fire to the stuff. And it's a massive water trap as well. So that all corroded up here just because of that water getting trapped by the polyurethane. So let's crack on. I've got to get this Flitch panel. We're not going to use a whole Flitch panel because I don't need it. Like I say, once you get to here, once you get to here, the panel's perfectly good. It is a Magnum part again. But like I say, all the exterior panels are all going Heritage. Right then, that's all the prep work done. So that's all cut out. It's all been well through primered, ready for the new panel. We've got the repair panel on the roof there, all drilled, ready to go. Flitch panel, sorry, not Flitch panel, closing panel's just in cure rust at the moment. And this is all well through primered now, ready. So let's do a bit of time lapse. Let's get this Flitch repair done and finish for the day. Right, there we go, all done now. So that's the inside. And the outside. All that inner wing is prepped now. That's ready for the outer wing to go on now. Just need to do windscreen scuttle. That was a horrible job. That's taken me all day to do that. Yeah, I'm absolutely goosed, I am. Little hint now, I know, remember why I hate heritage panels so much now. It's that black coating they put on them. You've got to get it all off, because as you'd have seen there when I was welding, I cleaned up obviously the areas that I was welding, but when it burns, that stuff, it really sort of interrupts the weld. Yeah, really doesn't like it. So like I say, that's one of the reasons why I remember I hate Magnum panels like that. I don't know what that stuff is they put on it, but it's not much use, to be honest. I suppose it's meant to be there just a coating to stop it going rusty while it's in storage, but you really need to take it all off. So thanks for watching this week, guys and girls. As always, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. Cheers.